channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book called The Romanov Sisters. Its full name, though, is actually The Romanov Sisters, The Love Lives of the Daughters of Nicholas and Alexandra, and it was written by Helen Rappaport. It was published in 2014, and while I'm not sure if it's related, I shall also be talking about a documentary which you can find here on YouTube called Russia's Lost Princesses, because it deals with the same subject and it shows several extracts from an interview with Helen Rappaport, the author of the book. Before I begin though, let me just say that since this book and documentary cover historical facts, everything that I'm going to be talking about, it can't really be called a spoiler. But if you're not that aware about what happened to the Romanov sisters and their lives and don't want to learn about it, beware. I've always loved history and monarchies, and my love for Nicholas II, the last Tsar of Russia, and for his family has always been really special to me because they're some of my favorite historical figures. Why? Well, for several reasons. Their connection to Queen Victoria, their personalities, their fascinating and interesting stories, the fact that they were the last rulers of Imperial Russia, a way of life that seems hauntingly frail and beautiful and ghost-like to me now. So yeah, over the years, ever since I was a teenager, I've tried to see as many movies and documentaries and read as many books about them, and that's how I first discovered the documentary of Russia's Lost Princesses. And while I've seen it several times over the years, I can still recall the first time that I watched it. I remember that I cried a lot and that I was shocked to find out so much about the mistakes that Nicholas and Alexandra did as parents, because while I can't really judge them and I understand why they did some of the things that they did, it's heartbreaking the way their daughters were prisoners in a sense all of their lives, in one way or another, first in a gilded cage and then as prisoners of the provisional government and then of the Bolsheviks. Anyways, I've only ever read 6 books so far, I think, about the Romanovs, and the Romanov sisters was my 4th one. The previous year I had read The Race to Save the Romanovs, also by Helen Rappaport, and I remember that I really liked it. I've also reviewed it in this channel, and so I've realized that maybe the documentary of Russia's Lost Princesses had always stayed with me because I was meant to one day read the book it might be based on. So yeah, back in January 2020, I found it at a bookstore, I got it, and like 7 months later I finally read it, and it took me like only 3 days to devour it. As you can probably imagine, this book is about Nicholas II and his family, placing detailed attention on his 4 daughters, Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia. We follow the girls from the moment of their births to their assassination on the early hours of the morning of July 17 in 1918, specifying how they led their daily lives, how they were different, and how they were alike. It backs up its information with a lot of citations, even presenting extracts from the letters they once wrote to their family and friends. So overall, you get a very accurate idea of who Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia were, and in the end, you are left with this agonizingly tight pain in your chest as you cry out at their unjust, barbaric end. So yeah, it's a really bittersweet experience to look at their pictures, to stare back at these girls in white dresses, ghostly wraiths and echoes, and know so much about who they were when they were alive. I give the book a 5 out of 5 stars review and highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in the Romanovs, specifically on the Romanov sisters. This is really the book to learn about them. It's like this gorgeous window into the past. And I enjoyed the fact that I discovered that the author writes very differently in all of her books regarding Russia's imperial family. In The Race to Save the Romanovs, for example, her style was a bit heavy, read more like a textbook, but here it ran more smoothly. And yeah, I just couldn't put it down from the moment I began. And I cried and laughed more than once before I finished this very well-researched book. And it is more detailed than the documentary on YouTube, but I enjoyed the fact that since I'd already seen the latter, I could remember certain footage of the Grand Duchesses whenever I read something that had been shown in the documentary. Also, I do think that if you're not that familiarized with the Romanovs, it might be a bit hard to follow all the historical events and the names and the dates, and know when the book is a bit outdated. But for me, it ran really smoothly, and it was a very enjoyable read, and I do really recommend it. For the moment though, I believe that this is all I have to say about the Romanov sisters. Thank you so much for watching my review of it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you did or if you didn't. And I would also love to hear your own thoughts about Grand Duchesses, the Russian Revolution, Imperial Russia, the author, anything that's relevant to the documentary. But yeah, in the description box below you can find a link to the Goodreads page for the book, as well as 2 links for the documentary because it's divided on 2 parts here on YouTube. But yeah, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you're in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care and goodbye!